Hello, I am Robin Warner. I am the Managing Editor of Autoweek, and I am about to drive a 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. This is my second video review, and I will tell you that I've definitely learned a few things after doing my first. It's harder than it looks, first of all. Second of all, shaky cameras aren't the greatest thing in the world. Working on improving that. Can't say it's mastered just yet. And generally try not to ramble so much, but we're doing it again. It was good enough that I guess I wasn't laughed out of the room, which you can't really be in YouTube anyway, but let's ignore that part. And let's get to it. I just want to say before I get started that I'm going to kind of do this like a standard car review, even though this is clearly not a standard car. Anyway, this is a 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. It is technically a mini compact car that seats four and comes in, depending on how you split them up, 4 trims: Carrera, Carrera S, Carrera 4, and Carrera 4S, which makes this 911 the top trim in the lineup right now. I say right now because Porsche will definitely come out with more versions. There will be 30,000 versions of this car before they're done with the 992 chassis, which is what this is. But for now, this is the top one. Now, that's only if you do not count the fact that there are convertible versions, because technically the convertible version of this car, which is called Cabriolet, is more expensive. So depending on how you do it up, there is a more expensive version of the 911. The Porsche 911 starts at $98,750, but this particular 911 Carrera 4S with all the options I just mentioned is $140,830. The 911 is powered by a twin turbocharged 3-liter flat 6 engine, producing as much as 443 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. That power goes through an 8-speed dual clutch transmission and onto all 4 wheels. That's what the 4 part means of 4S. And Porsche has promised there will be a manual transmission version of this car, but that manual transmission version of this car is not yet out. So at the moment, the only thing available is the 8-speed dual clutch transmission. The 911 is 178.4 inches long, 72.9 inches wide, 50.8 inches tall, and weighs 3,487 pounds. This combination is good for 18 miles per gallon in the city, 23 on the highway, and 20 combined. This according to the EPA. And I think it's great. How can you not? So let's go for a drive. So I'm in the 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S, said that a couple of times. This is the first model year of the new generation. This is the 992 chassis generation. This was the replacement of the 991 chassis, which was the replacement of the 997 chassis, which was the replacement of the 996 chassis. I don't know why Porsche went down in numbers, but they did, and now they're climbing back up. Anyway, the 992 is chock-a-block full of new stuff, a lot of new technologies, and it's not necessarily stuff that you think of when you think pure sports car, like the dash is new and fancy. The instrument panel still has a tachometer in the center, which is a Porsche trademark, which is important, but the rest of it are screens, and the screens are adjustable. The center console has a bigger screen, which is bigger than before and has all these different things to it. It's nice. The car's even bigger. The car gets better emissions and stuff like that, and it has hydraulic brake boosting instead of vacuum brake boosting. These are all different things that are just kind of like the general wave of technology, the way things are going. But as a purist, as a driving purist, it's a little bit disheartening. You're like, guys, this isn't pure sports car stuff. But the good news is the car still drives phenomenally. And you can't really expect anything else from Porsche these days. They've been doing a lot of great products. It's hard to think of anything that's bad. Just some things are less amazing than others. And why do I say that? I say that because this car is now 55 years old, the 911, and it still brings about new enthusiasm and energy about it. The steering feel is still fantastic. The driving feel is really good in general. The engagement, every turn of the steering wheel has positive feedback, and they're just getting better and better at refining the package. The 992 chassis, is yet again bigger. You look at a Porsche, I mean, think about the specs I gave earlier on. This thing is almost 180 inches long. That's I think more than 2 feet, definitely more than a foot bigger than the original car. It's a big hunk bigger. It's wider than before. The car just keeps growing and becomes more of a luxury product. That's why it wasn't that far of a leap to compare it to the BMW M8, even though that seems silly. You get a 3-liter twin turbocharged flat 6 engine that's good for 443 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, and through the 8-speed dual clutch transmission feels great. You're feeling what feels like peak horsepower almost all the time, and it still sounds really, really good. When I get to a flat chunk of road, I will let you guys hear it for a second. Here's a flat stretch of road, in fact, right now. I mean, how can you not like it? Still has that iconic, mechanical, visceral sound to it. And I'm only in normal driving mode. I have sport mode, which is here, which firms up the suspension, kicks you up a gear, makes it a little bit more aggressive for downshifting, things like that. And I have Sport Plus mode, which is here, which does the same thing all over again. And the car just gets better and better. Okay, now I told you at the beginning, this car seats 4, technically. If you're bigger than 3'6", I don't think you'd want to spend much time back there. I think I would fit, technically. I think I would fit in a legal sense, but I don't think I'd be comfortable for more than 30 seconds. And I'd also need at least 2 assistants to get me out of it after I got in. So this is not the car for a family. This is a car for you and maybe 1 passenger, and your luggage can fit in the back seat and be buckled in, which is nice because it doesn't move around that way. There is also a front trunk which holds, a decent amount of stuff, like you can get a small cooler in there, things like that. And that's about it. So what Porsches do better than most any other brand is driving feel, driving engagement. And what I explained in my first video about that Honda Accord is that those are the most important things to me. So clearly I like this car. Come on, that does not get old. That's so good. And how can you not enjoy that? If you have the means, it's a great car to get. So there you have it, the 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. To learn more about cars, car culture, and motorsports, go to Autoweek.com. I'll leave a link in the show notes. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching.